How many times did you strike him in the head area and the upper body? How many? 13. 13 solid shots to the head area. What did you do to that defenseless kid then? You kicked him in the head like you were kicking a 50-yard field goal. Or 1451. And are you Kelton Gaines? Yes. Okay. Mr. West, John West, I believe is your attorney, as well as this lady's attorney. In a 22-41241, Mr. Savoy, you just briefly on a history for the record. You were indicted on December 14th, once a year ago, in 2022, for the second-degree felony of robbery. I found out from this case that there was a video that was, I guess it was made by some other student. And to say it's disturbing would be an understatement. It is most disturbing. It is, one thing is certain. In schools, it is no place for bullying. It is no place for assaults. It is no place for the threatening of other students or anyone else involved in this. The key ideals for an education system like what BISD is striving to obtain is not only a safe environment for the students, which is necessary, but an opportunity to learn without fear. And not the least of which is you ought to be able to go to the restroom without being accosted. That's a place for private natural events to occur that are necessary for humans, but not to have to endure what I saw in that video. Now, the post-sentence report states this. And this is from the police, the BISD police officials who investigated the case and who showed up quickly afterwards. A couple of things that, several things that disturb me most about all of this. And it defies logic that this is the kind of atmosphere that is at any school, but it can happen. And when it occurs, it is going to be dealt with severely. According to the complainant, you, who were with some others, the complainant was in the restroom, taking care of his business, as it were. And you came in, demanded his cell phone and other items in his possession, which is theft. And when you force that, it's called robbery, which is a second-degree felony, which carries with it up to 20 years in prison. The victim stated he didn't have anything on him, and then you attempted to raffle through his pockets of the shorts he had on to see what he had on him. Then apparently he tried to protect himself and grabbed at you for what you were doing, and you stated, "Don't touch me, let's fight." Then you pushed him to the ground and beat him severely. I saw the video from the district attorney's office. How many times did you strike him? And all he was doing was in a complete defensive position. He had you around your knee. He was holding one knee like this, trying to defend himself from your blows because he was on his knees. How many times did you strike him in the head area and the upper body? How many?
All right.
How many?
I don't remember.
Take a number. 13. 13 solid shots to the head area. Then he falls away from you on the ground, laying defenseless. What did you do to that defenseless kid then? You kicked him in the head like you were kicking a 50-yard field goal. And then what did you do? Left him. And the others with you. So, police were called. And the nurse got there. It was very serious. They were attending to his lacerations. He had injury to his face that was bleeding. They looked for you. You're supposed to be in school, in class. You were there, but you hid out for 3 periods while they searched the campus. You were hiding out. Why would you hide? Unless that biblical proverb, guilty people flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous stand bold as a lion. That's in the Bible. You fled and you hid, and somebody had to take care of this mess with this kid. Oh. Now, your version, in all fairness, you got a chance to be heard, and you said, I saw smoke coming from, I go into the restroom, saw smoke coming. Several people were in there. It was taking them a while to come out. So I said, can you hurry the F word up? I mean, aren't they teaching you English I know they are. And there's no way to speak. I mean, I know people use that word, but it's obscene. It's not right. It's not a showing of intelligence. You're supposed to be learning, not using vulgarity in your conversation, but no. So you say this guy comes out, grabs my shirt for no particular reason. Hey, the kid's nowhere near your size. And he was attacking you?
Yeah, he's shaking.
Okay. Okay. For no particular reason. He attacked you. You say, I blacked out. All right. Well, the fact of the matter is there's absolutely no comparison in size. There is no comparison with what I saw being done. You could have stopped after the first, if you felt like your life was threatened by someone who was holding your knee, grabbing your knee, trying to defend themselves. After once or twice striking him, you could have stopped because he wasn't striking any. He wasn't putting up a fight at all. I mean, it's clear, and everybody's seen it apparently, but me. I'm not a social media person, so but I've heard. Oh, everybody's seen it. That's the most atrocious thing we've ever seen. It is terrible to see. It frightens people that they are going to be sending their children to a school where this kind of hostility takes place. Well, BISD is concerned about that. And they're going to, I know those people to strive to be responsible people to make a safe learning environment for the kids there. But you're working against, people like you work against that. You didn't have to strike him 13 times. And then while he's laying defenseless, you kick him in the head. He was no threat to you at all at any point in time I saw when I counted the 13 blows. It was like you're just an angry person who just wants to hurt other people. But I can guarantee you this, that there was nothing I saw that was a threat. And even if this were, he wasn't a threat. Apparently, nothing appeared to be threatening during the 13 blows that you were striking, and you were, you're so much taller, bigger than him, and you were rearing back and throwing haymakers. And I'm going to help him with that result. No one comes into this court and beats mercifully a human being like that and then kicks them in the head without going to jail. You're going to go to jail. I can put you in jail for up to 30 days. And that's what I'm going to order. Now, if it were me, I'd be upset about that. You don't seem too concerned. Have you ever been in jail before?
Yes, sir.
You have. Okay. Well, no wonder.
That's what it.
No one. It's supposed to be punishment, I guess. I hope it's considered as punishment. I would like it to people to think, oh, I don't want to go to jail, so I'm going to certainly conform my conduct to the law and peaceful coexistence with others. When were we in juvenile facilities before? Okay. I don't have that information before me, but people who are in front of me with an assault case, and I think this is reasonable and normal for all judges to see what we see in an unmerciful beating to another person who's a young kid who's trying to go to school. That can't be tolerated at all, number one. And number two, it is going to have some kind of punishment, which includes confinement. You're going to be sentenced. I can't sentence any class A misdemeanor like in this to up to 30 days confinement in jail. I have talked to the sheriff, and there is a place in the jail where 17-year-olds are placed, which are away from the other adult population. And you are going to be sentenced then as a term of probation.
We did, Your Honor, and we appreciate the court being understanding regarding the time. I think he said he wants to turn himself in January and do the weekend. Like you.
Okay, you have to report on or before 6:00 p.m. every Friday. They will release you at 6:00 p.m. on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
You will be given credit for 2 days each weekend. So
Starting what day?
what do y'all want?
10?
It's y'all's call.
Okay. The 10th, whatever the week is, Friday is around January 10th, I think is what.
The Friday is the 12th.
Graduation.
Friday is the 12th.
Okay.
There's January 12th is Friday. All right, Mr. Savoy, this will begin on January 12th, Friday. And you will begin those days of confinement, and those will be 15 successive weekends, unless the court is convinced that those should be shortened for good cause. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just, another condition of probation is make good grades and attend class, and do not pick fights. Defend yourself if necessary, always, if necessary.
Yes,
But there's a point where when you are defending yourself and the other person is no longer a threat. And if under your story here, if I don't, it's hard to believe the story, but even under your version, once he is completely not a threat to you and is just hanging on for literally dear life to your knee, and then he falls to the ground. That last kick in the head was that's what's really stirs anyone to see. That's a very dangerous thing to see. It's terrible. And we're all lucky, you especially, that there wasn't serious injury because to him. Because that would have been the most serious event. That would have been most serious for you.
So that accomplishes everything.
Who's having financial hardship and he's working really hard, but this is his first time ever being charged with an offense. And he has been abiding by all bond conditions. And he's not like there's any fears that.
Yeah.
So we're asking for removing the GPS.
State say on this, I'm the one that did the bond conditions, and of course we get so many, I couldn't tell you exactly what they were until what the probable cause was, which is what I look for. But it's a serious, very serious probable cause affidavit.
That's right.
And I mean, this is someone that really, well, heck, this happened a year ago on Christmas Eve. So,
Yes, sir.
so
According,
somebody's trying to go to the Dollar Tree, I guess, for something on Christmas Eve. And then they're accosted as they're leaving, exiting the Dollar Tree by two females. And it looks like two males are also involved. But what the defendant is alleged to have done here is there's an Almeida Ledette is someone that has his last name as well. Are y'all married?
Sister.
Your sister. Here, that's disturbing thing is she was assaulted. The victim was assaulted by two females, Mac and Ledette, the women. Her money falls out of her hand. Then Mac, the female, places her foot on it, states, "You're not getting this money." Then boyfriend Chambers, Sheffield's boyfriend, attempted to intervene. That was the victim's boyfriend, but was stopped by you, Joshua Ledette, who pointed a gun at him. This says you pointed a gun at the person, placing him in fear of serious bodily injury, thus causing the defendant's money to be taken, and then y'all fled the scene. That's what this probable cause affidavit states. And so, very serious. When I had a copy of this was on July 27th is when I set the bond with home confinement and GPS, which is not abnormal when there's an aggravated assault allegation, which is I mean, it's aggravated assault. Could have been aggravated robbery as well, but they elected to go aggravated assault, and that was a second degree rather than a first degree, but it certainly fits the elements of aggravated robbery, which is very serious. But anyway, yeah, there was a good reason so that this, we could GPS is so if something happens, we know where you are at all times, knowing their whereabouts, and then they get in trouble. And they go, well, if we had, that's why we devised this, and it has cut down bond revocations immensely. I don't have that many like I used to. because we're applying this home confinement and GPS. It cuts down on their social life, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about fixing a mess. So I'm gonna keep it status quo, but 4 weeks,
Yes, sir.
okay, and see if something can be done. And if sooner, let me know, but then that could help, too, maybe.
Thank you.